Hi YouTube, it's your boy Grassy TV and welcome to another Here's Each 2 video. Sub-skill trees are a new feature coming in Season 5 and are designed to provide a more tailored experience, letting players focus on specific playstyles and strategies that better suit their preferences. Each tree will offer a mix of passive and active abilities, allowing for a wide range of build options, enhancing both character customization and gameplay depth. To access this new feature, simply click the plus sign at the top right of the skill you're looking to spec into. A new window will pop up that looks just like this. Here's how this works. You always start at the bottom, then lines connect to smaller travel nodes that grant stacking buffs. At the end, every skill has 4 larger nodes that are very build defining, known as augments. You cannot have more than 1 augment per skill, but you can spec as many skills as you have allocated. For today's video, we're going to be reviewing each of the skills sub-skill trees for the Nomad class, going through every node and demonstrating each augment. I will have timestamps available so you can easily navigate to your favorite skills. Now before we get started, this video is not intended to simulate DPS or serve as an indicator of which skills will be the best for Season 5. The goal here is simply to generate early conversations regarding sub-skill functionality, improvements, and diversity to ensure that every skill in Season 5 brings something fresh and exciting to the game. Use the comments to share your thoughts or feel free to share a build that you've theory crafted. I'm streaming Season 5 beta on Twitch at twitch.tv/Graxy_TV, and I would be happy to check out any of these new build ideas that you guys have. Let's get going. The first skill is Sand Carver. Starting with the trouble nodes, we have increased the amount of sand throws, increased damage dealt. Sand thrown has a chance to inflict bleeding on hit, increased damage dealt to bosses, chance on kill to spawn a sand vortex, chance on hit to gain increased dodge chance, increased attack speed, increased attack damage, increased projectile speed, and chance to inflict armor break and arcane break on hit. The first augment is Eviscerate. Critical strikes cause the Nomad to throw sand in its circle around him, stunning and dealing additional damage. Second is Parasitical Sand. Thrown sand now sticks to the targets, dealing damage over time for a short period. Third is Piercing Sands. Thrown sand is now piercing and has a chance to fork on hit. And fourth, Desert's Blade. Chance on attack to summon a big tornado, pulling in and dealing additional damage to nearby monsters. The second skill is Cloud of Sand. Starting with the travel nodes, we have decreased movement diminish when using Cloud of Sand, increase the cast rate, teleporting to the cloud now unleashes multiple sand tornadoes around the cloud, decreased mana cost, increased duration, Cloud of Sand now leaves behind a trail of tornadoes, increase the projectile speed, increases damage dealt, increases its AoE, and inflicts arcane break on hit. The first augment is Cloud Bender. The cloud is now under your control, gaining increased size and damage. Wait, that's so fun. What the? Second is Field of Quicksand. Teleporting to the cloud now summons multiple small sand vortexes around it. Third is Desert's Echo. Summon multiple clouds dealing increased damage. You are no longer able to teleport into the cloud. And fourth, Ascension. Teleporting to the cloud now renders you immortal for a short period. Cloud of Sand now has a cooldown. You're immortal for 6 seconds. That's ridiculous. The third skill is Blade Strike. Starting with the travel nodes, we have increased crit strike chance, increased critical strike damage, increased damage dealt, increased attack rating, inflict armor break, chance on attack to throw your weapon with force, dealing additional damage and bouncing from terrain, increased area of effect, chance on attack to strike additional times, chance on hit to increase your strength for a period of time, and gain a portion of your strength as all attributes. The first augment is Skewering Blades. Unleash flying blades on monster hit, dealing area of effect damage and inflicting bleeding. Second is Brutalizing Cleave. Gain increased attack range and damage, slightly knocking enemies back and stunning them. Third is Stacked Blades. Striking a monster applies a debuff, which when reaching max stacks will unleash a multiple blades, dealing additional damage and bouncing from terrain. And fourth is Giant Slayer. This increases your critical strike damage for Blade Strike based on your maximum life with a 1% conversion rate. That could be absolutely insane. The fourth skill is Eye of Ra. Starting with the travel nodes, we have increased maximum targets, increased damage dealt based on your maximum mana, increase the range of the sun rays, chance on hit to inflict burning for a portion of the damage, increase damage to burning targets, increase the amount of sun rays additionally inflicting slow on hit, inflict fire break on hit, increases critical strike damage, increase attack rating, and inflicts armor break. The first augment is God of Gods. Unleash an Eye of Ra on all nearby monsters. Eye of Ra now has a cooldown. Second is Pillar of Light. Unleash Pillars of Light in a narrow line, each dealing damage over time and slowing on hit. Third is Orbiting the Sun. Unleash multiple light pillars orbiting you and dealing increased damage. And fourth, Lightbringer. Eye of Ra unleashes a storm of light pillars at the last target. The fifth skill is Sand Tremors. Starting with the travel nodes, we have chance on attack to spawn additional tremors, decreased movement diminish, chance on hit to inflict bleeding for a portion of the damage, increased damage to bleeding targets, increased area of effect radius, increased damage dealt, increase the attack range, chance on hit to send a sand tornado towards a target dealing additional damage, killing monsters with sand tremors restores your life, and increases critical strike damage dealt by sand tremors. The first augment is Shrouding Sand. Striking monsters now enshrouds you in a sandstorm, which gradually shrinks and disappears. Striking additional enemies causes it to grow larger and last longer.
That's what she said!
Second is Pulsating Tremors. Tremors now travel a short distance, dealing additional damage. Third is Night of the Desert. Tremors deal increased damage and inflict a permafrost on hit. And fourth, Dune Warrior. Striking monsters adds a stack of Dune Warriors, sending multiple tornadoes, dealing additional damage in an arc upon reaching maximum stacks. The sixth skill is Flying Scimitar. Starting with the travel nodes, we have chance on attack to cast an additional scimitar, increase the damage dealt, increase projectile speed, increase size. Returning scimitars pull enemies towards you with a chance to slow them. Chance on attack for Flying Scimitar to inflict bleed, increase critical strike chance, increase critical strike damage. Flying Scimitar now executes targets below a certain life threshold, and increase damage to bleeding targets. The first augment is Flying Swarm. Throw multiple smaller scimitars with decreased damage. Second is Sticking Blade. Scimitar is now attached to the first target for a short period, dealing damage over time and then returning back to the Nomad. Third is League of Nomad. Scimitars now return to their spawn locations. Successfully catching the returning scimitars increases your damage for a short period. And fourth, Orbital Blade Strike. Scimitars are now spawned in a circle around the Nomad with increased projectile speed and pulled back, dealing increased damage. The sixth skill is Sand Gush. Starting with the travel nodes, we have increased area of effect, chance on cast to increase the size and damage of tornadoes, increased damage dealt to stun targets, inflicts arcane break on hit, increases speed of sand tornadoes, increases the amount of sand tornadoes. Tornadoes have a chance on hit to inflict bleeding for a portion of the damage, increase damage to bleeding targets, and tornadoes now spin outwards following the Nomad. The first augment is Desert Cyclones. Tornadoes spawn multiple cyclones on hit. Second is Sandstorm. Cast continuous gushes around you for a short period with increased radius and damage. Sand Gust now has a cooldown. Third is Sand Tornado. Send out a Sand Tornado casting Sand Gush continuously. And fourth, Dust Devils. Unleash a small Dust Devil bouncing off of walls and unleashing a pulse of sand on hit. The eighth skill is Chainslice. Starting with the travel nodes, we have increased amount of bounces, increased attack rating, inflict armor break on hit, increased range, increased projectile speed, increased size, chance on hit to inflict poisoned, increased damage dealt, decrease the movement diminish, and increased damage dealt to poison targets. The first augment is Bloodburn. Unleash small blood novas on hit, dealing increased damage. Second is Ghost Blade. Each Chainslice hit scatters a flying blade, spawning a phantom blade when landing. Third is critical shred. When Chainslice critically strikes, it sends out additional scimitars in all directions. And fourth, chainception. Chance on hit to release an additional Chainslice. The ninth skill is Scimitar Charge. Starting with the travel nodes, we have increased damage, increased area of effect radius, increased traveling distance, increased attack rating, knock monsters back, dealing increased damage, increased travel speed, increased mana cost, chance to swirl on additional time, chance to stun monsters, and increased damage to stun targets. The first augment is Scimitar Storm. Throw multiple scimitars in a circle around you on hit. Second is Slow Painful Death. Deal a portion of your damage as bleeding with increased effectiveness. Third is Static Blade Vortex. Scimitar Charge now slows enemies on hit, leaving behind a pulsating whirl for a short period. And fourth, Phantom Charge. Mark the point of impact, sending phantom nomads from the random directions towards the mark. And fourth is Phantom Charge. Mark the point of impact, sending phantom nomads from random directions towards the mark, casting Scimitar Charge for a short period. The 10th skill is Sand Vortex. Start with the travel nodes, we have increased area of effect, increased pulling strength, increased damage dealt, restores mana on hit, chance to stun monsters, reduce cooldown, increased duration, increased damage dealt to stun targets, inflicts arcane break on hit, and Sand Vortex now executes targets below a certain percentage of life. First augment is Sunken Field. Summon multiple small Sand Vortexes around the target location with increased damage. Second is Accelerated Sand. Sand Vortex size and tick rate increase rapidly but lasts for a shorter duration. Third is Cycloning Kraken. Sand Vortex now spawns cycling tornadoes from its center. And fourth is Slow Burn. Sand Vortex now doesn't pull monsters, but slows them and inflicts burning for a portion of the damage on hit. The 11th and final skill is Phantom Blade. Starting with the travel nodes, we have increased maximum amount of blades, increase their attack speed, decrease mana cost, increase attack range, increase damage dealt, increases their duration, increased area of effect radius, chance for Phantom Blades to swing an additional time, inflicts arcane break, and inflicts bleeding on hit. The first augment is Spirit Blades. Phantom Blades now orbit you and attack the closest monsters. Second is Terrorized Mind. When a Phantom Blade strikes a bleeding target, the bleeding is consumed, unleashing a vulnerable pulse, dealing increased damage based on the bleeding value. Third is Spectral Ghost Blade. Phantom Blade deals increased damage based on your maximum mana with a 9% conversion rate. And fourth, Dimensional Ghost Blade. Phantom Blade no longer attacks, but it throws a flying scimitar with increased damage. And that's going to wrap up today's video, showcasing all these sub-skill trees for the Nomad class. What was your favorite augment? Let me know in the comments. If you want to stay up to date with Season 5 beta, be sure to subscribe to this channel to always know when I post a new video. Come check me out live on Twitch at twitch.tv/Graxy_TV. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to leave it a like, as it does help me a ton. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.